Hi, favored ones. Welcome to Soul Talk. Our guest for today is Father Ted Gonzales. He is a teacher at the Loyola School of Theology at the Ateneo de Manila campus. He also serves as program director at CEFAM, also known as the Center for Family Ministries. So he has a retreat apostolate which is mainly for young professionals, which is through life's directions. There's also about sexuality and spirituality. There's also about spirituality for men, discerning leadership in times of crisis, integrating power and spirituality. So all these subjects, all these topics are really very nice, and spirituality is always integrated into all these things. So let's all welcome Father Ted Gonzales. Hi Father Ted, kamusta po kayo?
Hello, Michelle. How do they call you now? Michelle Brendy or Michelle or what?
Yes, because Father Ted, nakilala niya ako as Brendy, but now I'm using my first name as well. It's okay po
Ah,
if you're still used to Brendy, I'm happy na yun na
okay,
lang po
okay.
para
But
no
what do you
confusion.
prefer? What do you prefer? Anong mas gusto mo?
Right now it's Michelle
Yeah.
kasi
Okay.
my family calls me Michelle, even my high school
Okay.
friends. So the Brendy it only started during college days when I was at Ateneo.
Okay, okay,
Ayun.
okay,
So,
okay.
hati ang mga ang tawag sa akin. But,
Saan ka nag-college, if you don't mind? Saan ka
sa
nag-college?
Ateneo. Sa Ateneo
Okay,
rin.
okay, okay.
Mm.
Okay, okay. Sige.
Oo.
Pero nagturo ka sa Lasal? Ganun ba yan? Nagturo ka sa Lasal? Okay. Okay, okay.
Ang
Maybe
buhay nga naman, no?
I got
Undergrad at
confused maybe.
Ateneo.
Yeah, maybe I
Yes,
got
undergrad
confused
at
with the
Ateneo.
or
Mm-mm.
maybe you were able to shift, no, from Ateneo to LaSalle, mga ganyan.
Actually, I found it very significant rin as well because in Ateneo, I was introduced to the Ignatian spirituality. But then
Kaya pala, yeah. Oh.
At LaSalle, they also have the Lasallian formation, which is very
Mm,
aligned to educators. So
sure,
I got the best of both worlds, to be honest. So there's no
sure,
I
yeah.
just have love for for both universities.
Okay,
Ayun.
okay.
So kayo po,
Uh,
Father Ted, how are you? Ano na po
okay
yung
naman, just a little
pinagkakabalahan
word
nyo?
lang. Yeah, just a little word about yung program director. Baka malito sila, pero yung program director maybe is more in tune with some of the things I've started, like charisms. Maybe kung yun ang program, okay. Although of course I also help out with counseling, supervising, help out with classes.
Mm.
But yung program director, maybe that's more in tune with itong some of the things I try to do or what I have explored. Some of the integration work that I have been doing. Like sabi mo nga kanina, itong life's directions, integrating mga choices in our life, our story, parang ganon, with spirituality, integrating sexuality with our story and spirituality, integrating leadership, which is agimat ni Apo. Pero ngayon, ang bago yung servire, no? Yun ang bago na
Wow.
pinag-uusapan. That's something new. And
Mm-mm.
then, etong integrating parenting, which is really, ang tawag ko San Jose for the fathers, integrating etong sa mothers, Maria, ganyan. Integrating reading and spirituality. So parang merong, siguro parang gestalt, you're like parang jigsaw puzzle, you're trying to put it all together. Sana merong mabuo, ganon. You were saying earlier sa ating kwentuhan, sana merong mabuong purpose or the soul, no? Which is, I
Mm-mm.
think, your program. So, but basically, parang yung charism, yung sa the body of Christ, you have many gifts. So kung meron man akong program director na sinusubukan, how do we listen to that spirit, and maybe how do we put it all together sa jigsaw puzzle, no?
Mm-mm.
So parang ganon, parang the
Oo.
image is you have Saint Paul, you have one spirit, one body, but you have many gifts in the whole body of Christ. And how will they all work for the common good? Kung meron mang purpose, mga ganyan.
Yes.
Merong purpose naman
Oo.
talaga. Merong
Mm.
purpose. Okay,
Actually,
sige.
I like your charism, yung integrating, because we all have different aspects of who we are. So, in all those aspects, we always have to integrate it with spirituality. And most
Okay.
people tend to forget that. Actually, I met Father Ted through Life's Directions. It was a retreat that I joined back in 2012. I also was kind of confused with the choices or decisions that I have to make in life. So I felt that I needed guidance. So that's why I joined. And that's also where I found out I also have the gift for counseling. So that was the really what ignited all of this. That's the start of my spiritual journey. And yeah, very dear si Father Ted sa heart ko. And I'm so really grateful that he is here right now to talk about it. Um, maybe Father Ted could also share some things about life's directions, yung integrating choices and decisions in life with spirituality. How did it all start?
Okay, okay. That's a good question. Pero before we go to the life's direction, sabi daw, all of us are like spiritual, we're like spiritual beings. And then trying to find this spirit in the body. So parang we're already walking spirits in a way,
Mm-hmm.
but through our bodies. In a sense, how do we embody? Like now, sabi ko nga, merong programs or our own charisms or giftedness. Yung ating, whether you call it choices or call it our parang parenting roles or as couples, mga ganyan, or as about to get married or pero napunta lang ako, siguro let me go back to that. Napunta lang ako sa mga hindi ginagawa, yun. Yung mga gaps, I think they call. So, kasi ako, uh, parang I just enjoyed, kasi I come from, ang word yata nila ngayon, financially unstable when we were young, no? Hindi siya
Mm-hmm.
stable, eh. So, and then, pero now I'm finding a word for it. How do we become financially stable and sustainable and, but more important, yung a steward, financially steward, parang gano'n. But anyway, balik dun sa question mo.
Mm-hmm.
Parang, what is the story behind this life's directions? I think that is your interest. Okay.
Yes.
Yung, I suppose I was also searching for my vocation in life.
Mm-hmm.
So, I met people in my life, okay? And I met people and I am really grateful to them, okay? Kaya gusto kong sabihin niya, no, na I met special people in my life. And I was asking myself, magpapari ba ako o will I have a life commitment of married life? Yon. Kasi I met people along the way, no? And napapaisip ako doon kasi that means choices, eh. Parang crossroad. Now, kaya nga yung symbol ng life's direction para siyang crossroad. Okay? Yung para kang sangandaan. So parang people are making choices in life. And then ang tanong, what is God asking me to do? Yun. Not because I don't love the parang meeting people. It's just that parang, Lord, what do you want me to do? Parang ganon. Baka hindi lang do. What do you want me to be? Ganon. Who am I? Parang ganon. Later, I'll go back to that. But anyway, so parang backdrop ng life's directions, it was really a soul searching for me. No? In fact, matagal yun, ha? Mabagal akong magpasya, eh. So it took a long, long time. Minsan, nagtuturo ako, pero hindi ako makapag-focus ganun. Kaya tumatambak yung aking mga test papers. Kasi parang I was, I don't know, my heart was calling me elsewhere. Mga ganon, basta it was so strong and so powerful na hindi ko maintindihan, parang ganon. And so, Yan, I was trying to pay attention, but I could not focus on other things I'm doing. Parang transition, parang ganon. Okay. Hindi ko maintindihan yun. Pero perhaps because I was in the 20s, so I was wondering, ano ba talaga? Di ba yung 20s is really a time when people get married eh? Pero ako, although I already made my initial choice of, to yung I entered, pero parang there's this trying to sort out, parang I need to sort it out. You know? Okay.
Mm-mm.
So, of course, I met people in my life, kung sabi ko, no? And then, but I had to ask, Lord, what do you want me to do? Yun. Parang out of fairness to the people I've met, what do you want me to do? Yun. Okay.
Mm-mm.
Baka hindi lang do. Who do you want me to be? Yun. I'm not saying na bagay ako sa married life o hindi, whatever. Pero I had to sort that out for myself, ganyan. In fact, I had to go to, sabi ko, hindi pa ako ready for theology. So I asked, no, can you just allow me to be assigned elsewhere? Hindi ko alam saan nila ako i-assign, okay? So, and then I was assigned in Cagayan de Oro. At least it was far from Manila for a while. Para lang to sort out lang, ano bang gusto ko sa buhay? Ano ba yung hinahanap ko ngayon? Parang soul searching.
Mm-mm. Ito po ba
So,
yung parang nasa seminary pa kayo when you were
uh,
asked to discern?
they didn't ask me to discern. I was discerning kasi they just allowed me to discover this, parang not to rush, but to, in fact, my superiors were, in fact, were parang don't rush, ganon.
Mm-mm.
Just take your time to decide. So, although nakapasok na ako, pero siguro in life, we don't only make one choice, we make many choices in life, no? So, and then, sige, so yun ang backdrop ng life's directions. Parang I was in critical, uh, parang stage of my life or stages of my life.
Mm-hmm.
Kahit na nasa theology na ako, di pa ako makafocus eh. Parang my mind was elsewhere. So, kaya siguro marami akong back subject sa theology. Mga ganyan. Kasi minsan natutulog ako sa klase, minsan, but because maybe something was going on.
Mm-hmm.
And then, what else?
Parang it was a transition.
Big transition yan kasi I really wanted to know what God wanted of my life. Yun. Tapos, isa pang big issue dyan, yung my relationship with my father. Ganon. Kasi nga sabi ko, we were financially unstable. So may mga old issues that were coming out. Minsan, malapit ako ma-ordain. Tapos sabi ko, meron ba kami papakain sa mga tao? All those things were, I was worrying about ganyan. Kasi nga, we were not financially stable at some point, no? And so siguro nakaka-insecure 'yon. Anyway, back to the back to
LD.
tong sa LD na, sa LD. Mahaba yung aking pasakali. But anyway, but maybe our stories will understand the background of this life's directions. By the way, yung life's directions mo 26 years na yun ngayon, ngayong year. So naka 26 years na. Can you imagine that is like a quarter of 25 plus 1, 26 na. So tumagal ang LD. Sabi nila, if you want to find out whether a charism is fruitful or real, by the fruits you will know. Okay, now back to LD again. Yung LD, this is how it started. So I was in grad school. I was doing my master's in the US. Tapos meron silang isang exercise, ang pangalan niya, if you were in the party, what kind of role would you want to play in the party? So, will you be the bartender? Will you be the one, ito yung DJ? Will you be the one fixing everything, parang organizer? Will you be the one arranging physical arrangements? What kind of role will you play? Will you be the wallflower? Will you be the entertainer of the whole place? Anong role mo? parang gusto ko yun kasi meron siyang hinahanap, your place, parang corner of the sky, parang ganon.
Mhm.
So meron kang hinahanap. So and then I was with a group of mga taga CEFAM, no. We gave a family ministries when I returned already now to the Philippines from my grad school from the US. And then I returned, and then we had this seminar in sa bundok, sa somewhere in the Cordillera or somewhere in Bontoc area. So we had this family ministries in Bontoc.
Mhm.
Tapos pababa na kami, pabalik na. After the family ministries seminar, I was with a group of mga kasama. Nagtatanong sila, Father, what are we going to do na next year? Ganun ang mga pag-iisip. Hindi ko alam kung bandang, I don't know. But they were asking questions for the future. What are we going to do na? Ako naman, because of that background of that, what kind of role will you play in the party? Parang symbol lang siya.
Mm.
And then, sabi ko, gawa tayo ng seminar. Pero hindi ko alam kung anong seminar. Okay? I didn't know. Or gawa tayo ng retreat, whatever. Tapos, mamaya, so there were people asking questions. Tapos, mamaya, meron akong nakilala itong si Aji. Ano siya, nag-attend ng seminar ng itong one seminar, no? Sabi niya, I'm getting bored already. Hindi ko sabihin yung seminar. Okay? Tapos sabi niya, Father, tapos sabi sa kanya, kasi sabi niya, I'm getting bored. Okay, gawa tayo ng seminar. Ganyan. Tapos, of course, I didn't know what seminar, okay, or retreat. And then, si Jopay. Naku, si Jopay was a big one also. Si Jopay had this, ang tawag doon, yung parang lupus. Naku, health problem. So she had lupus, tapos naka-wheelchair yata siya noon. Father, give me something to do. Give me some work. Ganyan siya. Kasi, of course, the lupus affected her body, ganyan. Tapos mahina yung mga joints, mga ganyan, all these things. Sabi ko, si Jopay was good with writing. Magaling yon, no? Magaling ang dami na nga niyang awards sa pagsusulat ng si Jopay. Tapos mamaya ay sabi ko, sige, people are asking for this, what do we do? Sabi ko, ikaw magaling ka magsulat and then you're good with ito yung how to arrange things. Sabi ko, Jobs, pwede bang I will have some ideas, I will have some readings, tapos pasa ko sa'yo. Tapos you tell me kung babagay ito sa mga young professionals. So, okay. Sige, Father. Sige, ganyan. And one thing led to another. And then also another one, meron isang English teacher sa Ateneo. Hindi ko na sabihin ang pangalan. Sabi niya, is it worth saying yes to God? Oh my goodness. So parang kumbaga, nag-next level na siya at level up na siya. So, sabi ko, I'm trying to do this outline. Can you, English teacher naman siya, so nagpatulong na ako sa kanya. So, sabi ko, can you help arrange this one? And then if it makes sense to you, ganyan. Pumayag naman siya. And then of course, but Jopay was really the one helping out with kasi nga siya nasa writing niya. So tapos tumulong siya sa pag-arrange ganon.
Mhm.
And wow, nabuo yung life's directions. I think that I don't know kung September yata 'yon. I forgot na the exact. Mahina ako sa mga dates. But
Yes.
that was around 1994 if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, 1994 mga September yata 'yon.
Mhm.
And then launching na, okay? Launching. There were only about 12 people I think that time. Parang symbolically, no? Parang kasi konti lang kasi bago pa lang eh. There
Mhm.
were a group of scholastics who were crazy enough to try it. Scholastics are like those information, mga Jesuits ganyan. There were people in the NGO. There were people who are in the Sinabong Flores, dun sa Discovery Weekend. So parang mixed group. Tapos, there was also, I think, another guy na parang was trying to run away from Holland, mga ganon. So, kasi meron siyang issue, mga ganon. So, uh, I think there was a addiction issue or whatever, or gambling, mga ganyan-ganyan. So, pati yun na parang running away, o kasama din siya, mga ganon. Kasi maybe, I suppose, looking for direction. But on the night before it happened, I had cold feet and I was scared. And then ano ba tong kahibangan na ginagawa ko? Ganun sabi ko, I had fears, no? And then, Lord, if it is your will, tuloy natin. But if it's not your will, itigil na natin to. Mga ganyan. But as the saying goes, parang just one thing led to another. Tapos naging 26 years na siya, no?
Mm-mm.
Itong life's directions. I suppose one of the things that people really talk about LD is I think people like to know their story of their lives. And second, they want to share it to people and they want to have companions. Siguro baka yun, at least simula lang yun. Of course, there are more things that happen after that. But ako, if there's one thing, if I look back about LD, wow, I discovered a lot of young people, ang gagaling, ganun.
Mm-mm.
Ang galing nila.
Yeah.
And
It
they would tell
really,
me,
parang God really brought people into your life so that LD would form. Para
yeah, ito
mag-ano siya.
paunti-unti lang, no?
Mm-mm.
Paunti-unti lang siya, konti lang siya. Hindi naman to parang madami. Pero paunti-unti lang. Tapos umabot ng 26 years. And then, when I was, kasi I had to go away. So, and I was blessed with some corporate guys. And sila, magaling sila mag-vision, mission, mga ganun-ganon. And then, binabasa namin noon yung, how do you know if your group will stay on? You know how? When it's beyond the person who started it, yon, and the next generation will continue. So, I was, after 7 years of, yung sa masters, then I had to return. That's another story,
Mhm.
yung baka bahagi yung sa life's direction story. O baka sa vocation story na lang later on. Pero yung, will I continue my doctorate or not? That's also part of the background. But
Mm-mm.
anyway, balikan ko na lang siguro mamaya yan.
Oo.
I was allowed, the other thing also background ng LD, kasi I wanted, let me tell you the story. I don't know kung may oras pa tayo doon. But the story goes like this. I finished my master's program
Mhm.
and then I received 2 letters. So baka bahagi sa LD yun. One letter says, Ted, we think you have a potential for this doctoral program. Okay. Wow, syempre, medyo tumitibok ang aking puso and
Mm-mm.
parang the mentors or the teachers gave me a letter, parang go signal, pagpatuloy mo yung PhD program. Kaya lang, I received another letter. I don't know if how I received it. Siguro sinabihan ko yung aking mong superior or whatever. Ted, umuwi ka na, parang basically. Or come home na, come home. Basically, it was not seen as important that particular time that I will pursue the PhD. Kaya lang ako, I had vertigo, I had vomiting, I had all these things happening. Parang hindi pa ako ready to come home kasi parang feeling ko, wala pa ako masyadong alam. Parang ganun. And then parang bitin pa siya. Not yet, parang something still not yet parang integrated in a way or so pero naging blessing yung crisis na yon kasi
Mm-mm.
ano bang gusto ko yon, and I think that's part of LD maybe, no, you find your burning bush or your uh, what do I really like, who am I or whatever. And then it made me return to my teacher in philosophy sa Ateneo, si Father Ferriols. Sabi niya, kasi si Father Ferriols nagsimula ng Tagalog yung philosophy. Sabi niya, you go back to the original. Balik ka sa pinaka-ugat, pinaka-original. And then I remember also yung sa Thomas Kuhn, yung isang reading sa Philosophy of Science. Sabi doon, if you want to be creative, you have to return to the original or the old science, but you have to build on it and then you make a new science. Pero ang common doon, I want to be creative. I don't know where that comes from. Maybe that's part of who I am. Kaya may mga charisms, may mga sumusulpot na merong basa, merong on fire, merong life's directions, merong San Jose, merong Maria, merong ngayon Servire, merong Mekika ba. kasi parang merong creative impulse, yun.
Mm-mm.
Maybe later on for my vocation story, kasi you only see the output Pero meron siyang ugat din yun later on when I was in the novitiate, mga ganon. When I was starting with the Jesuits. But
Mm-hmm.
anyway, so bumalik ako, biro mo sa crisis. Siguro sa LD, people go through some crisis in life.
We all
They
do
get
naman.
stuck. They don't know what's the next step, mga ganon. Kaya siguro, that's why I could relate with a lot of young people na especially if they go through crisis. Kasi I was like crisis embodied, mga ganon. And how to be yung talagang really carried away, mga ganon. Pero ang maganda doon, when things are channeled, you begin to see your passion.
Yes.
And I'm really
Actually, yung
grateful.
with,
Yeah,
mm-mm.
go ahead, sige.
Parang
Okay.
with your story, you're saying that you have gone through these, crisis, yung mga questions in life. And it
Correct.
led you to realize who you really are. Bakit, parang yung creativity that's important for you, the integration that's important for you. And
Ah,
tapos yung finding the gap, tapos yung making sure that the gap narrows down, that's also important for you. So the crisis that we've gone through, it led us to who we really are and what we really want to become.
meron tang dagdag, hindi ko nasabi sa'yo. Part of being original, you go back to the original founders.
Mm-mm.
So in counseling, I wanted to understand the original counselors, parang ganon, or therapists. Then it led me to Carl Rogers, it led me to Mary Bowen, it led me to Salvador Minuchin. So inisa-isa ko yung mga yon. Kasi pinauwi ako, di ba? At least yun ang
Mm-mm.
feeling ko, pinauwi. But maybe hindi naman ganun talaga yan. God led me also. Maybe God was designing something, no?
Mm-hmm.
God was designing. Kasi later on, I realized, in fact, ngayon ko lang ito naalala, yung meron ako isang counselor na he's Black American. Yung mga Black American, medyo to soul no? Soul. Parang talagang, sabi niya, I think you'll do well in your country. Pero yung sinabi niya, masama pa yung loob ko, pero sabi you'll do well. Pero it's nice to hear. Okay? Hindi ko pa maintindihan ang ibig niya. But my sense is, if I go back to that, what he said, you'll do well in your country, or you'll do something great. I don't know if it's great, but you'll
Mm-hmm.
do something. I think, I'm not saying I should be proud of itong mga charisms na ginagawa ko. Hindi naman akin yun It's really a testament to this creative God. Yun.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I'll go back to that later for my vocation
Oo.
story. Sige.
Pero ito ba yung is this the charism, it's part of the vocation? Are you,
Yes.
this is part of you being called to serve in this way?
Yes, definitely. Yeah, oo. So, sandali merong lamok sa aking sa kwarto. Sandali lang. I will just light my candle. Sandali. 1 minute. Can I,
Okay.
sandali
Sure.
I'll be here lang.
Yes,
I'll
of
just
course.
get something to light up my candle.
Mm-mm. Actually,
Hindi,
well, Father
mukhang,
Ted is lighting his candle. Yung story naman kasi sa LD, it's, just to summarize, it's really, when you are going through choices in life and you have to answer those. Syempre, hindi lahat ng choices madadali gawin. And it's always wonderful to have guidance and of course yung i-align mo rin yung sarili mo to what is God's will. Yun yung
okay, ito, dumating na aking candle, okay? So, uh, sorry, pasensya na po yung mga nakikinig at ako ay kumuha lang ng candle. But maybe that's symbolic, no?
Mm-mm.
We all need light, yun. So,
Yes.
hindi lang pampatay ng lamok, mga ganon.
Actually,
So,
every time I do the soul talk, I also have a light of candle here.
wow. Okay.
Parang nagka-counseling when I do my sessions, meron din lighted candle. So even with
Sige.
this kind of conversations, I also light up candles.
Wow, thank you for that. Okay, sige. Okay. Go ahead, Michelle, sige.
Yes. So yun, balik tayo dun sa yung vocation, yung charism, it's part of your vocation.
Yes, okay,
So,
sige.
vocation would be the bigger part, 'di ba? Tama ba ang pagkaintindi ko? Kasi
Go
from what
ahead,
I
sige.
understand, there are three types of vocation.
Hmm.
Parang single blessedness, going into marriage, and entering the convent or monastery, serving God. But all those naman, you could serve God talaga eh. Tama ba yung ano? Parang that's
Okay,
what
okay.
stuck in my mind. But you could also ano, enlighten me more of
Okay.
charism and vocation.
Okay. Yung the finer distinction, hindi ko muna sasabihin yan kasi maybe the theologians are the ones who will
Yes.
have
Saka
to
it's so
handle that.
broad eh. It's so
Correct,
broad
correct.
din.
The theologians will have to perhaps have a better way of distinction. Okay?
Mhm.
So yung sa akin ay we have a we know God calls us. So I don't know if you know it, but sometimes you don't know God calls us. Mga ganun.
Ako aware ako
So,
dyan.
ang ibig sabihin ng vocation, it's a call.
Mhm.
Parang, kung baga, may tumatawag. Pero sometimes, now the buzzwords we have would be, we're not attentive, we're not mindful, mga ganon. Hindi natin pinapakinggan. In
Mhm.
fact, many things in life we don't listen to. Now, calling is like you listen to this stream of your life, a running stream or story of your life. And God is there in the stream. In fact, St. Ignatian of Loyola, he says that yung kung baga, there is, or kung parang sa kanya merong will of God.
Mhm.
And you have this, there is this God who loves us, no? There is this God who is a creator. There is this God who is a redeemer. There is this God who labors and parang you can see Him all around. Tinatanong nga ako kahapon, how do you listen to God? Mukhang hindi ko alam. Hindi ko yata nasabi sa kanya na God, you can find God in all things. Parang ibig sabihin nun, parang God is present in many ways. Kaya lang, parang hindi tayo nakikinig ganun. Okay, now, we're not listening. But anyway, yung back to the calling, single ba tayo? Tayo ba these are all, tingin ko dyan, these are all expressions or platform. Sabi ni Oprah Winfrey, parang you find the platform where you can express your highest, truest, dagdag ko na lang, purest self.
Oh
The
yes, I love that.
platform. So parang find your platform. Find your, ito yung pagiging single, pagiging married, or this consecrated life, or itong religious life, whatever, priesthood, or pagmamadre, or whatever. These are all platform. These are all means
Yes.
to express our highest, truest, dagdag ko, purest self. So, parang, but God is love. Ang tanong, the question that we have is this, what kind of discerning love are we willing to give to the world? Yun. Kasi lahat naman pagmamahal, di ba? Now, question, what kind of blessing do you have so that you can express this love in your life? All of us are called to love. Ang nangyari sa akin, first, I am so grateful to the people who are so patient with me, okay? Na parang they have really truly supported me and took care of me talaga in my search, okay? And I really am grateful, no, for the patience now. Now, the question is, surprisingly, I was asking about married life. But you know, in the turn of events, what happened? Now I'm in the family ministry. Can you imagine that? Now I work with people about to get married. I work with couples. I work with families. Ano nangyari doon? Pero hindi lang family, isa. Parang kumbaga ang ginawa ng Diyos, parang He used my heart to be a shepherd, if you like, to be a pastor, to be to take care of parang families, ganon. To take care of not just one family, but to take care of families. To take care of ito ang mga gaps. Yung mga gaps, no? Mga bata na kasi I like reading eh. So magbasa, ganun. So kaya nga yung basa is for the kids eh. So because parang the reading will give you so much imagination, parang it's the university of life, parang ganun. But of course hindi lang naman reading 'yon. You can have other experiences that can be university of life. Tapos of course yung meron din sa mga kabataan, no, na sinusubukan tatak next gen, mga ganon. So we will do that for college, magsisimula na yon. So that
Wow.
part of the excitement. And then college students from different universities pa. So I don't know, I will get crazy na parang dami ng mga trabaho.
Kaya pala discerning leadership. That's for the
Yes.
college. Mm.
Iba pa yon. Meron pang pang-college at merong yung servire. Yung servire, meron ng mga engagements yung mga tao eh. Meron na silang mga causes that they do. So these are already the people who are like servant leaders. So meron ng ganyan. Kaya lang, itong Ignatian spirituality parang provides so much possibilities.
Yes.
Anyway, sige. Masyado na ako madaldal. Sige,
Oo.
okay. Ikaw muna,
And
Michelle.
actually, based on what Father Ted has said, ang Ignatian spirituality kasi, it's also quite broad. But from what he has told us, yung sa stories na sinabi niya, yung nakikita ko is yung finding God in all things. 'Di ba? In every part of our life, there's always God. Sometimes we ignore yung calling niya, yung, 'di ba, ang hirap pakinggan kasi we're not aware. But he's always there telling us or, you know, whispering the words, yung ng calling, ng purpose, ng meaning. So that's why important yung examine wherein we discern, we go into contemplation. But what I love about what Father Ted said is that not only will you discern and contemplate, but you put it into action. Lahat yun lumalabas as an expression of God's love. So, kasi gusto ko sana i-explain niya ano yung Ignatian spirituality, pero he explained it through the stories that he told us. And yun yung mga na-extract ko. So, finding God in all things, doing the examine, discerning, and then even as you contemplate life, you turn those decisions, choices into actions, which truly is the expression of God's love. And tama, yung vocation, that's the platform wherein the means, the tool that you have to be your purest self, your highest self. And that is in connection to the calling, to your purpose in life. So it's really beautiful. Actually ngayon kasi if I still ask questions, ako mahabang kwentuhan nito. But then, Father Ted, ito, yung kahit last question na lang, when you decided to enter the seminary, were you able to foresee na, oh, okay, ito na, yung apostolate ko talagang nasa family ministries, helping people. Kasi, di ba, parang at different stages of our life, we get little bits of who we are. Parang mas bumubuo tayo, mas nag-integrate yung pagkatao. How, with a grateful heart, how would you describe the journey as you become
Well,
more integrated?
yes. I think the image I would have would be like God has the big design or the big jigsaw puzzle. Well,
Mm-hmm.
of course, I call that interior designing. Okay, kasi ako mahilig ako sa interior designing. Although, ang kwarto ko mukhang magulo. Anyway. But I like yung interior designing. Okay, now, it's like, for me, the big jigsaw puzzle of life. Okay, now, for Ignace of Loyola, maybe I will summarize kasi meron pa ako isang meeting. Pero, yung part of this parang, it's like, I think people call it relationship with God. Yun, part of our vocation or etong Ignatian spirituality is you build a relationship with God. Kasi paano mo malalaman kung hindi ka nandun sa relasyon, no? So, how do we know the will of God? You have to have a relationship with God, di ba? So, number one, ang sinasabi ni Saint Ignatius, you ask for the will of God. Yun ang baseline.
Mm-hmm.
You ask for the will of God in your life. Okay? So, how is that? You ask for His love. Yun. Because we need to feel love. Otherwise, maghahanap tayo ng kung ano-ano. Parang ganun. So we need to feel God's love. That is basic, foundational yan. That will bring us the trust that we need in life. Siguro another time na lang yung siguro sabihin ko na rin ngayon. In my journey, sabi ko, wow, one of the distractions I had was ang daming magagaling na tao. Kaya lang,
Distraction yun.
instead of me being grateful, distraction kasi we compare ourselves with others. That will make us be afraid. Kasi kung akala mo magaling ka, ang daming mas magagaling. Ay, nako, talagang top-notchers talaga. When I entered the Jesuits, nako, ang daming mahuhusay, ganun. Maraming nobelang nabasa, tapos magaling mag-express. Merong isa, nagtuturo na ng Bible, ganun. Merong isa, ang galing mag-gitara. Merong isa, ano ba yung iba? Magaling sa basketball. So sabi ko, where is my place here? Kasi ang dami nilang galing, ganun. And then, you know what, meron pa ako, mahina pang tenga ko, mga ganun. I had ear infection ever since when I was young. But that became a blessing. Because God told me, sino bang maganda yung sabi niya ni Oprah, sabi niya, whose are you? Sometimes hindi lang who, but whose are you? I just realized meron silang spiritual exercises. Ito, isang buong buwan yun. We are created in love by God, basically. Kailangan magtiwala yon. You trust, parang ganun. That trust was like my building block for all these charisms. But could I have foreseen that? No. What God wanted me to do was step by step. Ano muna, basic muna, ha? You build trust muna. What is that? Confidence, self-esteem, whatever, I don't know. But I think when we feel love, that is when we relax. So that's the first one. Second, that parang Ignatian of Loyola would want us to find our blessings. Ano ba yung mga blessings mo sa buhay? Parang how you are loved and be grateful, mga ganon. Kasi minsan, dami reklamo sa buhay. Hindi pwede yun. Although, okay din naman magreklamo, pero we need to find the blessings of our lives. Third, we need to see what lessons we can learn from the shortcomings of our lives, no? What are the lessons we can learn from seeming failures, mga ganon, or even itong strong obsessions, strong addictions, if you like, compulsions in our lives, what lessons can we draw from them? Kasi ito mga movements. Yes. In other words, we're being called to discern. And then we are called to love Jesus in a more personal, more intimate way. We have to know him through the Bible, through the sacraments, or through the people. And then lastly, we need to find, aside from knowing Jesus, how we can commit to him daily, to the people around us. Sino ba yung kailangan nating alagaan? Mga ganun, no? Personally, magpapakain, mag-aalaga yun. So ito yung tawag ko, the lost, the least, and the last. Iba-iba yun sa atin. So for me, what is the blessing God gave to me? I will end here, okay? What is the blessing? And maybe that's part of the calling of this call within a call. Aside from being a Jesuit, to accompany people to be the best of who they are. Yun. To accompany people to, sabi ng mga kabataan, the best version of who they are. Accompany people, supportive role. Okay? So, yun muna siguro, and that
actually,
is
that's a good way to end this call. to find your purpose through the stages of life that you have gone through. And God doesn't want naman na isang biglaan, big time, diba? Parang you do it in small stages, in increments, and that's okay. You are where you are meant to be, and just have faith. So, thank you so much, Father Ted. That's
okay.
This is a morning filled with wisdom. And I know that you also have to leave na rin po.
Okay, maraming salamat. Those of you who have listened, thank you very much for taking time. And I hope and pray you will discover your blessing, how you are called to be a blessing for other people. Know who you are. You are blessed and loved. And then be a blessing by serving. And then lastly, do your best. Yon. In an excellent way. And then Ignatian Magis for the greater glory of God. Yon. AMDG ang tawag ng mga dyan, mga nag-aral sa Ateneo. AMDG, for the greater glory of God. Ad Maiorem Dei Gloria.
Mhm.
In omnibus amare et servire. Yun. Kaya meron tayong bagong retreat, pangalan Servire. Okay? Maraming
Alright.
salamat po.
Maraming
God bless
salamat din
you
po.
all.
God bless.
You,
Yes,
okay,
and this will
whatever
be aired
time.
during Christmas week. So, Merry Christmas
Okay.
to those who will be watching this during Christmas time.
Okay, may you find the Advent and may Christ be born in your story.
Mhm.
Okay? May
Alright.
Christ be truly born. Okay, maraming salamat. Bye-bye. Thanks. Okay.
Alright, sige po. Ingat po, Father Ted.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay.